Insects are the most diverse group of organisms on Earth, with a multitude of species inhabiting terrestrial and freshwater environments, but they are largely absent from the oceans. Why is this? To address this question, let's first review the characteristics of insects and their evolutionary history, and then consider the challenges of living in seawater and the presence of competitors. Firstly, what are insects? Insects are a type of arthropod characterized by 3 body segments: head, thorax, and abdomen, and 6 legs. Additionally, many insects possess wings and are capable of flight. Insects emerged approximately 400 million years ago and subsequently diversified to adapt to various environments. Currently, there are about 1 million confirmed insect species, comprising over half of all known species on Earth. So, how did insects make the transition to land? Interestingly, the ancestors of insects were crustaceans that lived in the sea. Crustaceans, which include creatures like shrimp and crabs, are arthropods with exoskeletons. An exoskeleton is a rigid outer covering of the body, and crustaceans can harden their exoskeletons by utilizing dissolved calcium in seawater. However, about 400 million years ago, the Earth was struck by a significant environmental change known as a mass extinction event. During this period, the oxygen levels in the seawater dropped, leading to the widespread extinction of many crustaceans. Among the surviving crustaceans, some ventured onto land. However, they faced a challenge on land as calcium was scarce, making it difficult to harden their exoskeletons. To overcome this, some of the crustaceans that ventured onto land acquired a new mechanism for exoskeleton formation. This mechanism involved an enzyme called multi-copper oxidase 2, MCO2. MCO2 could utilize oxygen from the air to synthesize exoskeletal materials. Through this mechanism, they were able to possess exoskeletons that were strong and lightweight without relying on calcium. It is believed that insects evolved in this way. Insects, by utilizing MCO2 and oxygen molecules, obtained exoskeletons optimized for life on land. Furthermore, the lightweight exoskeletons contributed to the development of their flight capability. Flight was a significant advantage for insects, aiding them in activities such as movement, feeding, mating, and escape. This is how insects thrived on land. However, a new hypothesis proposed by a research group from Japanese universities suggests that this very evolution has made it difficult for insects to re-enter the sea. The reasons are as follows. 1. Underwater, there is less oxygen compared to terrestrial environments, making the exoskeleton hardening mechanism, which relies on MCO2 and oxygen molecules, less efficient. 2. Seawater has a high salinity, resulting in a significant osmotic pressure difference between insect bodily fluids and the surrounding environment, making it challenging to maintain water and salt balance. 3. Water pressure is high, which makes the trachea, used for respiratory exchange in insects, more prone to collapsing. 4. Wings and exoskeletons create resistance underwater, making swimming difficult. 5. The marine environment is populated with crustaceans that compete with insects, leading to intense predation pressure and resource competition. Due to these factors, insects are not adapted to survive in seawater, and as a result, they are mostly absent from the ocean. While some insects like water striders, water boatmen, and whirligig beetles are known to inhabit limited environments like the water surface or puddles on the shore, there are no insects that spend their entire lives underwater. It is fascinating to think about the success of insects on land and the intriguing possibility of how they might have evolved if they had ventured into the sea. What would insects look like if they had adapted to the marine environment? Currently, it cannot be predicted whether insects will eventually inhabit the oceans. However, if insects were to venture into the sea, it is believed that they would need to meet the following conditions. 1. Acquiring a mechanism to harden their exoskeleton in seawater. Current insects harden their exoskeleton by utilizing oxygen in the air, but this process is not efficient in seawater due to its lower oxygen levels. They would need to evolve to utilize the abundant calcium in seawater or find alternative methods. 2. Adapting to osmotic pressure and salinity differences with seawater. Seawater has a higher salt concentration than the bodily fluids of insects, making it difficult to maintain water and salt balance. While there are insects adapted to seawater and salt lakes, they are limited to specific environments. 3. Developing the ability to withstand water pressure and atmospheric pressure. Insects rely on tracheal respiration, so high water pressure makes their tracheae more susceptible to collapse. They also need to be able to cope with pressure changes from the sea surface to the deep sea. For instance, the elephant seal louse can dive up to 1,500 meters, but its eggs and larvae die when immersed in seawater. 4. Gaining the ability to move and prey underwater. Many insects possess wings and can fly, but wings and exoskeletons pose resistance in water, making swimming challenging. Additionally, underwater environments are populated with powerful predators and competitors like fish and crustaceans. Insects would need to have weapons or defense mechanisms to contend with these challenges. As mentioned above, for insects to inhabit the sea, they would need to modify traits that have thrived on land or acquire new traits. These evolutionary changes may not be easy, but they might not be impossible either. Insects are the most diverse organisms on Earth, so it's possible that in the future, we could see a radiation of adaptations to the marine environment. If you found this channel interesting, please consider subscribing.